By 2030, about 40% of Kenyans should be living in urban areas.
We have an acute shortage of housing, especially within the urban areas.
Then they will get quality lives.
The crisis has been exacerbated by increased urbanization and low supply of affordable units.
Demand for housing in turn has driven up housing prices and often pushed quality housing out of the reach of the poor.
There's been a phenomenal growth in universities across East Africa. In Kenya alone, we are talking about 78 universities, more than 1 million university students. Affordable is debatable in terms of who can afford what. So we're really focusing on private universities.
We will be doing over 1,200 units. Currently, in this neighborhood, we have 246. The total cost for the project is 3 billion. That again depends on what the market dictates.
All residents have access to economic, educational, and social opportunities.
Kisumu, city of the future, not just of tomorrow. It's a city that my grandchildren will be proud of.
There's a student hostel bed deficit of about 350,000.
And so there's a deficit of about 7,000.
I'll blame the management.
For instance, our case here, we have probably up to 500 students. Our hostel can take just 300.
We are planning to accommodate 3,000 or 4,000 more students. But when this hostel is done through a PPP, our students, even those from the middle class, will pay something more reasonable.
That gap must be filled by private sector. There has been this conversation about public-private partnerships, but the whole process of public-private partnerships is just too complicated. It's too bureaucratic. It's just too complicated. It's too bureaucratic. It's just too complicated. It's too bureaucratic.
It's just too complicated. It's too bureaucratic.
So we have a problem with bed bugs.
When I reside in the hostels, I spend a lot of money, food and such stuff. When I'm in my house, when I've already done some shopping and I can just cook without even spending money, yeah.
I spent nearly 2 weeks searching for accommodation outside the school.
We have the top brains in these universities who have been training all those professionals.
Yeah. We are also human beings. Yes. So mtu akichukua hiyo tutapigana naye.
Kabisa.
Ndio. Kwa sababu mimi watoto wangu hawawezi kufundishwa, hawawezi kusoma kwa University ya Nairobi. Na mimi mwenyewe miaka yangu mingi ya ujana yangu nimemalizia kwa university hapa. Matajiri wanaleta watoto, mimi nawafundisha kwenda choo, nawafundisha kupiga simu, nawafundisha kufanya kukula, nawafundisha diet, wanakomaa, wanagraduate, wanaenda, wanakuwa matajiri tena waanze kugandamiza watoto wangu.
No. So this is our bedroom. This is the extra chair I was also telling guys that this is my roommate's bed and this is my bed. This is how our living room looks like. So when you come in, they give you 3 chairs. We decided to have 2 here and 1 is in the other room, which I'll show you later on. They also give you a table.
We're dealing with a creative genius.
Yeah, I miss Ali's sense of humor. And he used all the metaphors, analogies, and similes to make his case. And he is very much concerned about paradoxes and ironies in the human condition.
Centuries before Muslims and Christians turned God into a king, ancient Egyptians had made kings into gods. And these Egyptian gods had come to terms with death in a uniquely African way. Some civilizations have built tombs, impressive tombs, as a tribute to the dead. The ancient Egyptians built tombs as a refuge for the dead. Some cultures have built monuments to help the dead be remembered. The Egyptians built monuments
to help the dead live on, a kind of quest for eternal life. And so these pyramids were built to enable the royal dead to maintain the standard of living to which they were accustomed. That perhaps is the essential difference between the culture behind the Taj Mahal and the culture behind the pyramids. The Taj Mahal is a love poem in marble. The pyramids are immortality itself in stone.
Those of us who knew Ali benefited immeasurably from his words, his experiences, and his memories.
Mazrui is a political scientist with a literary bent.
We had been reading these tantalizing articles.
Implicit in concepts like Pax Britannica was the assumption that Western powers have special privileges.
We ought to believe that things will get better. I must retain that kind of optimism in order to feel comfortable about the future of our children and our grandchildren.
He says himself, he's Ali Mazrui is my dad.
He's a very loving, caring husband.
We're a product of three civilizations, you see, and sometimes compatible and sometimes I have to sort them out. So I became a kind of walking triple heritage.
My first experience of debating with head of state was with Obote.
He would get criticized from the right and he would get criticized from the left.
Ali Mazrui says that Africa is the only continent on earth that consumes that which it does not produce and produces that which it does not consume. In the words of Kenya's Ali Mazrui, our diversity must not be a tower of Babel, but it could be a power of Babel.